Hello and welcome to Glorious Miniatures. My name's Jolyon, and in today's video we have another Sunday preview. The 17th of March 2024, and while you're smashing that like button, making sure that you subscribed, hitting the bell for notifications, let's get into it. And all together now! Whoa! Just when you thought the old world was safe, the undying legions of the mad autocrat Cetra the Imperishable notwithstanding, a new faction enters the fray, and they're looking for a scrap. There's also an armoured company of Solar Auxilia releases ready to storm Warhammer the Horus Heresy. Everything in this article will be available to pre-order from next Saturday, with the usual 2-week pre-order period. That is now seeming to be a common thing. So let's have a look at these bad boys. There really are lots of Orcs and Goblins coming out for Warhammer the Old World. Let's get stuck in. The Warhammer the Old World, Orc and Goblin Tribes Battalion. There we go. Sorry about that. 2 chariots, some archers, some spear lads, and some chunky lads there with the 2-handed weapons by the looks of it. Get your war going with this massive box of boys. You get 73 miniatures in all. That's 31 Orc boys who can wield spears and shields, choppers and shields or double choppers, with a single command set, 40 goblins who can all be armed with short bows or spears and shields, with enough pieces to build multiple command groups and 2 orc boar chariots. You also get 2 new transfer sheets, one for the orcs and one for the goblins, with 75 and 84 decals respectively. That is a lot of miniatures that you're potentially going to be able to get if you purchase this box set. I think I did say earlier, maybe to my detriment, that I would be keen on getting this one. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, stock is still a bit of a nightmare. I'm still waiting on my Bretonnian box set I ordered from a third party. But maybe I'll get this one before that one. That would be an interesting situation. We can scroll down to our Black Orc Big Boss right here. I absolutely adore this miniature. I'm going to get this one regardless. This unruly mob of orcs needs someone to batter into shape, and there's no one better at smacking heads together, friends or foes, than the Black Orc Big Boss, a suitably imposing new character clad in fearsome iron armour. He's sculpted in forgeworld resin and comes on a 30mm base, all the better for ranking up with the boys. So do we have a little... I absolutely love this mini. Massive axe, pointy things with trophies on. I don't know, a great big fist for smacking people. Very grumpy looking face. Fantastic. Hopefully, by the time, there's a slim chance I may be able to at least start painting at some time in April, but definitely not in the new studio, which is fine. And then we have, the Orc War Boss on the Wyvern. Oh, yes. The first of the returning Orc heroes is a favourite who's been remastered in forgeworld resin for easier assembly and a better modelling experience, thank God for that, though it still makes use of the classic plastic dragon wing sprue. The Orc War Boss on Wyvern is ready to swoop from the skies and poison your enemy with great sweeps of its stinging tail. This is quite the classic miniature. I was looking at some of the older dragons. These are definitely a sight to behold. I don't know how I'd paint this. I don't know if I'd paint it green. I think that's I'd paint the forest dragon green, absolutely, but this one I'm not entirely sure if green is the one for me. But then we got the Troll Hag right here. Look at this fantastic beast here. The Troll Hag is a behemoth character with magical abilities and access to a unique spell lore. A hulking miniature sculpted in forgeworld resin reflects her in-game prowess in the new Arcane Journal, and she's a must-pick for any troll-centric horde. Now that is an interesting situation. It's an interesting sentence. Troll-centric horde? I see that the Orc and Night Goblin command sets are here as well. The Orc and Night Goblin command sets, right here. These are 2 groups of Orc and Night Goblin personages are sure to set any discerning war apart from the riffraff. The first set of 2 miniatures comprises a bulky Orc War Boss with a great weapon and an Orc Big Boss proudly holding a battle standard, while the second set includes 3 miniatures, a Night Goblin War Boss on a giant cave squig, a Night Goblin Big Boss with a battle standard, and a Night Goblin Shaman who's either having a very good time or a very bad one. They're all made of forgeworld resin. Okay, these are definitely... I remember this one. I remember the first time I saw this miniature, I thought I have to get my hands on it at some point. I'm so glad to see it back. You would not believe. I mean, this one is also pretty snazzy. He's got a whole load of, he's got some trophy racks and an interesting axe. But this one, the standard bearer, there's always been something about it I've loved. I don't know if it's necessarily this poor dwarf that's been sort of stapled to it. And then the dwarf, the Night Goblin one right here with this double banner action, that is always, I've always liked this one as well. That looks like a lot of fun to paint. And there's this one on the giant squig. But I think, for me, the two banner bearers, for me, have always been very interesting. But we got the classic orcs in plastic right here. Two classic orc kits are returning in plastic, the Orc Bosses and Orc Boys Mob. The first of these builds, two highly customizable orc leaders, one mounted on a war boar, and the other marching on foot, with options for a banner, paired or single choppers, and a cavalry spear, shield, or a great weapon, on top of choices for heads and accessories. There's so many options there. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Build them all, buy them all that sort of good stuff. And then I see we got some classic orcs in metal. Let's have a butcher's at this, shall we? 3 further classic orc sets are returning in metal. The Orc Biggins Command, and the Orc Shaman with a Bone Staff, who many argue is the genesis of the modern Warhammer Orc. The first of these packs contains 5 Orc Biggins in 3 different designs, while the second comprises the boss, standard bearer, musician, and a paper banner. And the third comes alone. Okay, so these are definitely old school orcs. You can see that in the faces compared to like the more modern style of them. Obviously, like sculpting and casting, etc., have improved a lot since then. But these are so much fun. He looks very grumpy as well, this shaman. We got classic goblins in plastic and metal as well. I do still have a plastic Night Goblin regiment box of I think it's 20 goblins in the box. So this is a bit unfortunate for me and for my wallet. But all of these old school goblins, all in metal. Look at them all. These are the wolf, not the wolf riders. These are drawn by the chariot, drawn by wolves. 7 classic packs of goblins also return. In metal, there are packs of 4 Night Goblin bosses, 3 Night Goblin Shamans, 3 Goblin Bosses, 2 Goblin Shamans, and 3 Goblin Nasty Skulkers. I forgot about that name. In metal with plastic wolves, there's also a pack of 2 Goblin Wolf Rider Bosses and a Goblin Wolf Chariot. The chariot also has plastic wheels and a selection of paper banners. That's all great stuff. The Nasty Skulkers, those are the ones with the capes and the backstabbing knives. I completely forgot about them. They're fantastic. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Oh dear, oh dear. The classic Orc and Goblin gubbins in metal. This is an issue. Especially these 5 up here. These 5 up here are a definite issue for me. And then we've got, I've completely forgotten what these are called. Snotlings, I believe. Completely forgotten what they're called. It'll say down below, no doubt. You got some old trolls. You've got the... It's not the Snotling Pump Wagon. I know the name will be down here, but I'm just trying to remember. We've got a Rock Lobber, crossbow thing, and a Doom Diver. I have a Doom Diver somewhere, or at least part of it. Anyway, the Green Tide continues with 7 additional packs of returning classics. Again, in metal, there's a pack of 2 common trolls. That's what they are, common trolls. 5 Badlands Ogre Bulls, including a standard bearer and paper banner. 4 bases worth of Snotlings, I was correct. A Goblin Rock Lobber, I was also correct there, with 3 crew and an Orc Bully. A Goblin Bolt Thrower with 3 crew. A Goblin Doom Diver Catapult with 3 crew. And a Snotling Pump Wagon, so I was correct on that as well. I didn't know those were called common trolls, though. That's a new thing for me. And then we have, oh dear, the Giant and Bone Grinder Giant. The Giant and Bone Grinder Giant, Bone Grinder Giants always look very wonky to me. I've never been keen on this one on the right. The one on the left, absolutely yes. I can definitely get my hands on that one. But the Bone Grinders always look too goofy for me. The 2 giants return in forgeworld resin. One remastered brute and the other standing tall as one of the largest miniatures in the old world. The first of these giants was formerly made of metal and comes with 2 head options. The second, The Bone Grinder Giant is a towering model with an awesome profile to match, detailed in the new Arcane Journal. Speaking of which, the Arcane Journal, Orc and Goblin Tribes. The 48-page softback book is an optional supplement for Warhammer, the Old World, fleshing out the Orc and Goblin tribes with lore, art and maps, as well as a historical scenario, 2 special characters, 2 armies of infamy to heavily change the way your war plays, a new spell lore, and some additional units including Troll Hags, Bone Grinder Giants, and Badland Ogre Bulls. It's also available as an EPUB. Right, let's scroll down to the next thing. The Orc and Goblin Tribes Dice and Cards. Oh, look at those snazzy dice. What a fantastic shade of green that is. The Orc and Goblin Tribes dice set contains 20 6-sided dice cast in green and red, including 18 regular D6 dice with the faction logo on the 6 face, 1 artillery dice, and 1 scatter dice. The card pack contains 36 reference cards, including magic weapons, magic armor, talismans, magic standards, enchanted items, arcane items, useful rules, the lore of Gork, and the lore of Mork. Okay, so that's basically a lot of Orc and Goblins coming up for pre-order. Is anything like the previous week, they did sell out awfully quickly, although obviously they have since restocked, etc, etc. This is a chance where you might want to potentially use Element Games. There should be a link below. It is an affiliate link. It will not cost you any money to use it, but it will support me, and it does give me a tiny smidgen of money if you decide to use that link. Anyway, now I've said that, let's scroll down to Warhammer the Horus Heresy. The world of legend isn't the only era of Warhammer receiving a flood of reinforcements next week. The Solar Auxilia are getting tanks. Lots of tanks. Campaigns in the Age of Darkness, the battle for Beta Garmin. The latest campaign supplement for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, drops as both a hardcover book, loaded with great content, and an EPUB, This packed tome delivers a comprehensive history of a loyalist counterattack into the Garmin cluster, plus complete rules for using Shattered Legions and Black Shield warbands, supplementing your Space Marines with Legions, Auxilia forces, and a complete campaign system for linking your battles together with ongoing effects upon the scenarios that are played. Fantastic stuff! You'll also find rules for new Solar Auxilia and Legion Astartes units, including 3 varieties of Solar Auxilia Sentinels, as well as the notable personalities of the Beta Garmin, from Tybolt Mar to Shadrach Medusan, which we've done sort of little videos on. I'll probably link top right hand corner to at least one of them. Then we've got the Solar Auxilia infantry sections. Look at all those saucy soldiers. 3 units of Solar Auxilia foot sloggers are available separately for the first time. The Las Rifle section, Tactical Command section, and Veletaris Storm section. The Las Rifle section contains 20 plastic infantry armed with what else? Las Rifles. These auxiliaries can be assembled into 2 squads or 1 massive section, each with numerous options including bayonets, a sergeant loaded with weapons, and troopers bearing a Vexilla and Vox interlock. The Tactical Command section builds a respected Solar Auxilia leader and 4 decorated companions in a variety of configurations. A Legate Marshal and their Life Wards, a Tactical Command section, or a Line Command section. It includes all the options from a Las Rifle section plus more, like an Augury Scanner or Fluttering Cohort Vexilla. Finally, the Veletaris Storm section. Box builds 10 elite troopers clad in reinforced void armor. Each can be armed with the Volkite chargers or storm axes, and the kit includes parts to build a sergeant with plenty of high-end equipment, and optional Vexilla and Vox troopers. All 3 boxes come with a 125 decal Solar Auxilia infantry transfer sheet. That is an awful lot of transfers. I'm always about collecting some of those if I can. Then we got the Solar Auxilia malcador heavy tank. Look at that bad boy. Tempted just to get one of those. Very nice. Dating back to the Wars of the Age of Strife on Ancient Terror, the malcador is a hefty tank that's surprisingly fast for its large size and absolutely bristles with armaments. These include 3 different turret options, 6 choices for the hull weapon, 5 pairs of different sponson guns, and a pick of 3 pintle-mounted weapons, or none. There's also a tank commander with a choice of 2 heads, and other assorted options and upgrades. It comes with 180 decal Solar Auxilia vehicle markings transfer sheet. Now I'm tempted to potentially get one of these. What I would personally love is the Malcador Infernus, the one with the little trailer behind it and the big flamethrower on it. That is my out of the line of Malcador tanks. That one is my complete favorite. Followed by the Solar Auxilia Leman Russ Assault and Strike tanks. Look at those bad boys. 2 separate kits for the 31st Millennium version of the stalwart Leman Russ. The Leman Russ Assault tank is designed for frontal attacks on fortified enemies and sacrifices a little speed to mount larger guns, the likes of the Demolisher Cannon, the Volkite Macro Saker, or the Executioner Plasma Cannon, alongside numerous hull and pintle weapons, plus other options like a Dozer Blade or Searchlights. The Leman Russ Strike Tank is a configuration designed for fast flank assaults and can mount on its turret a battle cannon, double-barreled Gravis las cannon or autocannon, or a Vanquisher battle cannon with coaxial autocannon. Of course, that is quite a mouthful to say. It also has all the same cosmetic and upgrade options you'll find on the assault tank. Both boxes come with 180 decal Solar Auxilia vehicle marking transfer sheet. And we've got the Solar Auxilia Dracosan Armored Transport. So it's basically that battle company all split out into separate things. The Dracosan is large enough to accommodate a full-strength Solar Auxilia las rifle section of 20 troopers. Crikey, that is quite capacious. And well-armoured enough to protect them from all but the most intense enemy fire. It can dish out punishment once its cargo is delivered to, with a hull-mounted Gravis las cannon or Demolisher cannon and numerous other options, including the classic Dozer Blade. Comes with 180 decal Solar Auxilia vehicle marking transfer sheet. Okay, fantastic. More plastic tanks. Never going to say no to that. Followed by, the Solar Auxilia Aethon Heavy Sentinel. Our final entry for the Solar Auxilia this week, at least, is the Aethon Heavy Sentinel, a chunky walker that provides heavy close-range firefight support for the Brave Las Rifle and Velataris sections. With 6 main weapon options and 2 missile choices, there's no nut too tough for this doughty biped to crack. Even the transhuman might of the Legiones Astartes. And then we have Horus Heresy transfer sheets. 2 transfer sheets also get a standalone release next week. Solar Auxilia vehicle markings and Legions Astartes black shields. Ooh. Former sheet contains 1,057 individual decals covering both general Solar Auxilia markings and a range of the most famous cohorts from Prosperine Spyguard to Manichaean Bulls. The latter comprises 829 transfers and includes iconography for loyalists, traitors, neutral renegades, and a swathe of specific warbands. That is I like these skulls. I like these skulls here, and I like these, I don't know, whatever those skulls are with the sort of feathery bits. I'm trying not to think of potentially doing black shields as well, just as a little extra warband, just to really increase the amount of work that we do this year once we get back to painting. But yes, that's very nice. I like it. Scrolling down, we got some black library. Oh, look at that saucy beast. The Emperor's children are among the most violently hedonistic warriors in the galaxy, living in pursuit of ever greater sensation and gratification. The warband known as the Adored and no exception, but their leader, Exantine, is tired of petty raids on meager worlds. When an Imperial bastion cut off by warp storms is found to hold a massive cache of priceless rejuvenate treatments, the allure of building a perfect fiefdom in his own image proves too great to resist. Lord of Excess by Rich McCormick is coming pre-order in hardback, ebook, and MP3 audiobook editions. That is some really sweet armor. That magenta, absolutely delicious. Love it. Fantastic. It's Warhammer 40,000 rather than the Horus Heresy era. Great stuff. And there's Warhammer Plus stuff, which we don't go over on this channel currently. So that's it. There's quite a lot coming out next week. Warhammer the Old World are finally getting the Orcs and Goblins battle force, or whatever they called it, battalion, excuse me. That's probably the thing I'm going to be trying not to purchase. I'll be saving money by attempting to get it from Element Games, although I know stock is going to be very tight, but I will attempt. Who else is anyone else interested in the Orcs and Goblins? Or am I the only one? And then we've also got the Solar Auxilia stuff. That's also fantastic. I do like tanks. The Malcador out of that particular set of releases is the only one which I might get, certainly for an unboxing video, and probably leave it at that. And that's really all I got to say. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and indeed hit the bell for notifications. I have got a couple of painting videos which will be going live in the next few weeks, hopefully. I've got to get one, I've got to finish off editing one. And then, yeah, progress has slowly been made on the studio. Like, work hasn't started, but we are moving in that direction. So just trying to figure out flooring and all that kind of jazz. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, and goodbye.